Hey everyone, this is Dean, and welcome to The Eye of the Universe. And today I'm going to discuss if you can actually write an essay using ChatGPT, and if there are ways to detect that it's been written by ChatGPT. So let's start off here really quick with just a basic essay. So if I go write an essay comparing Leonardo da Vinci with Rembrandt, and I hit enter here, it will start to write off an essay for us. And now one thing about ChatGPT is that it will only write a certain amount of stuff. So that's one thing to consider. And it kind of generalizes a lot of times. And so you may have to go back and ask it more specific things or to elaborate on sections. So it's kind of going to give you almost an executive summary a lot of times. All right, so ChatGPT is writing this out. It says Leonardo da Vinci and Rembrandt are two of the most renowned and respected artists in history, known for their exceptional skill and innovation in their respective fields of painting and drawing. Both artists were born in the 16th century and are considered to be among the most influential figures of the Renaissance and Baroque periods. However, despite their similarities in terms of fame and skill, there are several key differences between the two artists that set them apart from one another. One of the most notable differences between Leonardo and Rembrandt is their approach to art. Leonardo was a true Renaissance man, excelling in many kinds of fields such as painting, sculpture, architecture, and engineering. He was known for his experimentation with new techniques and his desire to push the boundaries of art. On the other hand, Rembrandt was primarily a painter and focused on perfecting his craft rather than exploring new techniques. He is considered one of the greatest realist painters of all time, known for his mastery of light and shadow and his ability to capture the emotions. Another important difference between the two artists is the subject matter of their works. Leonardo is best known for his iconic paintings such as the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, which depict religious and mythological scenes. He also produced a large number of drawings and sketches of scientific and technical subjects such as human anatomy, machinery, and architecture. Rembrandt, on the other hand, is best known for his portraits and scenes of everyday life. He was a master of capturing emotions and personalities of his subjects, often using himself as a model for many of the self-portraits. All right, and then so it goes on. In conclusion, Leonardo da Vinci and Rembrandt are two of the most renowned, respected artists in history. Both were born in the 16th century and were known for their exceptional skill in and innovation in their respective fields of painting. All right, there's actually a problem here in the very first paragraph and then the very last paragraph where it says both artists were born in the 16th century. Actually, neither of them were born in the 16th century. I went back to look this up just to verify I was right, but Da Vinci was actually born in the 15th century, although he lived and worked also into the 16th century. Rembrandt was actually born in the 17th century and lived in the 17th century. So neither of them were born in the 16th century. And only Da Vinci was alive in the 16th century of the two. So that's the type of error that you can get when you just use ChatGPT. So you have to watch out for that, and sometimes there are more subtle errors than that. So you've actually got to go and check your facts. So yeah, you could write this for an essay, but you need to really make sure, read through it and actually know your subject, because there could be errors like that in there. So that's one glaring error that's in this. So the next thing that we want to look at is there are no citations in this. So now I'm going to go write an essay comparing Leonardo da Vinci and Rembrandt with works cited in it. All right, I've had to run this query a couple of times because it keeps on stopping. It's probably because ChatGPT is really busy, so it actually keeps on stopping in the middle of the sentence, but it writes quite a bit here. But you can see here that there are citations within this chat right here. And if we go to a previous chat that I did on Da Vinci and Rembrandt, it actually at the end will put works cited right here. So it not only cites them within it, it gives you a list of the works cited and the quotes for them. So it does a pretty good job of writing an essay and then giving you the works cited at the end. Let's go back to our current thread of chat. All right, I won't go through all of this, but you can see here that according to art historian Martin Kemp in his book Leonardo da Vinci, The Marvelous Works of Nature and Man, he states that, and he goes on, and they have a quote from him, and then at the end they have the citation. And the same down here with a different work. And as I pointed out over here, our query stopped just because I think the server is very busy, but it will even include works cited with the essay if you tell it to cite works. So that's pretty significant right there. But as I mentioned before, there were it's still going. They both were born in the 16th century, and neither of them actually were. So you have to look for things like that, and I would actually check any cites that it did too to make sure that those were correct as well. So you have to verify the information if you're using this. Now, you can use it to find the sources and look at the sources yourself and write a paper. That might be a better way to do it. Now, the other problem with this, say you need to do a 10-page essay. So I'm going to go do a 10-page essay comparing Leonardo da Vinci and Rembrandt's style of painting with works cited. We can do this, and what will happen is, I'm sorry, I'm able to write a 10-page essay. It exceeds my maximum limit. However, I can provide you with a comprehensive summary of key points that would be included in such an essay. And it's doing that right now. And that might have been one of the reasons that it stopped before the end of this, before it got to the works cited. It has a maximum limit, so it didn't include the works cited with the tries we did this time. And so it's only made to go a certain length, at least currently. And so it won't write that much. So you couldn't do a complete 10-page paper with it unless you asked it particular questions, as you kind of outlined the paper and asked particular questions. You could, of course, do that and use those and edit it together. And but you still have to check the facts. Once again, it doesn't necessarily get everything right. The other problem with it is that currently its training data, it's a couple of years old. I think the training data is 2 years old. So it doesn't have any information between 2 years ago. So depending what discipline you're working in and what you're writing the paper on, you might miss a lot of crucial recent research by using this to write a particular essay. And so you're losing out on that as well. So even though you could use this for a paper, that's a problem. Now, if you're an instructor and you're grading these papers, what do? Well, of course, one thing is you can look at it to see if there are mistakes. There are going to be some telltale signs, like a blatant mistake, like that they were both born in a century that neither of them were born in. So you may find something like that might clue you into it, and there might be multiple things in it that cause that. But what I wanted to do is, let's go back up to the very top here, the first essay. And I'm going to take this first essay that we got here. Let's take this, and we're going to copy it, and we're going to go to this website here. This website's called corrector.app. All right, so what we have here is an application called Corrector.app, which will check to see if artificial intelligence wrote a particular piece of text or not. It's similar to having like a plagiarism detector, which they use in a lot of colleges and universities to check if students are, not quoting sources and using a lot of copying text directly from other sources and such. Except with this, it's looking for, I guess, certain patterns. Now, one thing to be aware of, there are like a dozen of these apps currently to check if AI has written something. And this one, I just did a kind of a quick survey of them, and I'll probably do some more research on it and do a video of some more of these detectors. But one thing that I found is some of them, ChatGPT uses an algorithm called GPT-3 currently. And some of these detectors only work on GPT version 2, and there's actually a GPT version 4. This detector will go through GPT version 4, and ChatGPT is only using version 3 right now. What GPT version 3 and 4 are those algorithms, you can think of them as kind of like the main chip on your computer when you upgrade to a newer chip or whatever. So they're kind of the engine that runs the chat, and so it's trained on the particular data that they use for the particular application. In this case, ChatGPT. Anyway, let's paste the text of our essay here, and you can see it's found that it's 99.98% fake, which it is because I didn't edit any of this, so it's actually 100% fake. So one thing with that, my question would be, does it just say that for any text? So I have a couple of paragraphs that I wrote, and when I put that in, it says that it's 0.02% fake. So it knows that a human wrote this as opposed to ChatGPT, and it uses the algorithms to do that. So already the TED detectors, it looks like that are kind of new, they're pretty good, and they'll only get better at detecting it. If you use this for an essay, or if you even use it on a website, people are going to know because they'll be able to run it through this. In fact, this AI content detector, you can get a plugin for Chrome or Microsoft Edge or any web browser that will actually look at what you're reading on a web page to tell you if any of it was written by AI. I haven't tried that out yet. That's one thing I would like to try out and do another video on. But as you can see, it could be of use to help you to write an essay and help you write other things, ChatGPT. But you've got to be careful to check the facts in it because it might make mistakes. Also, it's not going to have any data like newer than about 2 years ago because it depends on when the training data is, and the cutoff for the training data was about, I think, 2 years ago for this particular version of ChatGPT. And so that's another thing. It may not be the latest because it currently doesn't have access to Google or the latest information on things. They kind of closed the set of data they trained it on. So it's kind of like didn't read anything since 2021 or whenever the last cutoff of the data was. So you have to be aware of that as well. So that just kind of shows you a few things about, yeah, you could use it, but it may not be as useful as you think it is. But it could help you start off the research of certain things. And even if you tell it to cite sources, I would go and check those sources just to make sure they were correct and not out of context. So any of those things you could use to figure out if something was written with AI. That's the way you can use AI to kind of write certain things like an essay. I'm Dean, and this has been Eye of the Universe, and I will see you soon.